here today with Willow. We've finally got a chance to do a little bit more video of her for you guys to check out. So Willow is about 14.2, but she probably could carry a taller rider due to her chunky little type. And she's 8-year-old, Clyde Cross. You can read more about all that kind of stuff in her ad if you like. She has had a couple of viewings so far, and although she's been a really good girl for all of them, we're just a little specific with placing her in the right home, and we're sort of looking for a confident teenager or adult rider, I would say. She's a really good jumper, so maybe suited a little bit more to an all-rounder home, someone that's interested in a bit of trail riding, dressage and jumping. She has a lot of potential on the flat, but I think a few people have come out with expectations of her being a little further along with her flat work than she is. She is genuine, but she needs a little bit more flexion, yielding, bending, and things like that. But she is trainable, and she's improved a lot already. I think that just dressage hasn't been the focus recently, so she's got a little bit of catch up to do, but yeah, you'll be bringing her on if you're looking for a competitive dressage mount. So that's what we're going to get into and show you a little bit of today. So I guess I'll speak for a little bit. I'll just try and yell.
Whatever you prefer.
I'll try. It's just so
Amber's been a bit sick, so her voice isn't great.
Alright, so when I hop on her, the first thing, she can be a little bit rigid, I would say. Not rigid as in like stuck, she just kind of pretends to be stuck, and we might move down a little bit further so you guys aren't having an obstructive
plenty of obstacles out here today.
So yeah, when I get on, I'm kind of, the first thing I want to unlock is the flexion, and when I talk about flexion, guys, I'm talking about bend at the pole joint. The pole joint is the joint between the ears. So when I'm trying to do that, I've got my outside rein firm because that's keeping the neck straight. And then I'm just making a little vibration with my inside rein in an upwards sort of rotation with my wrist, which is just going to be turning her face to the inside. And I want to be able to see her eyelashes and her nostrils. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for here. The ducks today in the dam have been causing.
I don't think it was the ducks, I think it was Cherry bolting around.
No, but I think she was bolting because of the ducks. I blame the ducks. Anyway, moving on. Once I feel like I've got access to that little bit more flexion, as you can see there, and I want to soften and make sure she stays there on her own. If I lose it a little bit, I'll just bring it back and correct. I'm gonna party out there. Anyway, once I've got that, then it's time to introduce the inside leg. Okay, so in this instance, the flexion is acting as a turning aid, okay? And then the inside leg is acting as a yielding aid. So I'm kind of turning her towards the inside and then pushing her, the front of her rib cage with my inside leg out and catching that in the outside range. So there is a boundary. Obviously, if I gave that away and I pushed her out, you can see there she starts to fall out. Oh, sorry guys, one sec. I will just turn that off. Sorry everybody. At least you know she's quiet. Oh, I can get the zip up with one hand. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I've set the boundary of my outside rein to catch her shoulder as I'm starting to flex and yaw her out. Once I've got that, I'm really happy. That's what I'm looking for. And then I want to do that the other way, okay? And then it's going to be one of the greatest ways to make a horse supple, or to bring that suppleness into your training, is going to be from being able to swap between the two directions. Okay, so I'm going to now establish right flexion. I actually had access to that pretty well straight away. Then I've got set an elastic but firm feel on the outside rein. Okay, then I'm going to keep my inside leg at the front of the girth because I'm targeting the front of the ribs. Hopefully you guys can hear me there, and catching that shoulder in the outside rein. Okay, so now I'm just going to make a couple of turns between the two directions. Every time I turn back and forth, I'm unlocking her back behind the saddle. Okay, that's why changes of flexion, changes of rein, changes of bend, all these things are so good for them and their suppleness. Okay, so these are kind of things I think in her warm-up that are really important at this stage of her training. Anyway, when I've got all that, it's time to pretty much take the same sort of work into the trot. So I'll stay on the left rein, until I'm pretty happy with that. Good. And there, I lost a little bit of my alignment, so I'm gonna get that a bit better because I wanted to chop forward with that inside hind under her body. There we go. So I'm starting off in a good position from the beginning. All right, now Willow is fairly forward moving, as you can see at the start here. So although I want to make sure that she's not rushing, she doesn't have the biggest movement, so if she gets a little bit quick, she's probably gonna lose a little bit of swing. Okay, so I'm going to ask her to wait now a little bit. Now when I ask her to wait, I always soften afterwards because I want her to learn to maintain her own rhythm. Okay, so if I soften and she speeds up, even if it's only a couple of percent, that's no good. So I'm asking her to wait. So now we're just working a little bit on half halting. And I mean half halting in terms of asking her to wait, shift the balance from her shoulders onto her hops, and then softening so that she maintains the rhythm herself. Okay. Then I want to be concentrating next on making a clear distinction between one leg meaning yield, okay, which means go sideways, move away from that one leg, and two legs meaning forward. Okay, I definitely don't want her to speed up from the pressure of one leg, okay, because then that means every time I ask her for more bend, she's going to be getting short and tight and quicker, and I probably won't get any more bend. So it's really important at this stage of her training to keep that really clear. You'll also notice the way that Willow especially carries herself. If I don't have control over the rhythm, I want my reins to be sort of controlling her feet. So if I don't have control over her feet and the rhythm, she might start to get a little too short in the neck and over bend a little bit, which is not what I'm looking for. To be heading in the direction of having a longer neck, she needs to understand that when I touch the reins, her feet slow down, and it's not about her neck, you know, it's not that her neck moves under when I touch the reins. I want to use them in a way that targets her rhythm. Good, so I feel like now that I've got that rhythm a little better, I have been chipping away as I've been talking. I've been chipping away on the flexion as well. I'm just going to ask for a little bit more here, almost towards the shoulder 4 on the circle, but making sure that she's not getting faster. That's the way. Nice there. Okay. On that one, I'll change rein and try and establish the same work going to the right. So because I've already dealt with like that initial extra forward at the start there on the right rein, I'm feeling like I'm not having that so much this way. So I'm straight into the more lateral work. I mean lateral just in terms of bending to the inside. So we're bending her spine to the inside here. So I'm making little turns with my right rein, or little flexions if you like. And then asking her to move away from my right leg into my left rein. So she has got that boundary there. There we go. Now we soften and see if she maintains that flexion and also maintains that rhythm. Now when before I was talking about her getting too short in the neck, I don't want that, but I don't mind if she wants to seek and stretch down, which as she becomes more laterally supple, she might want to do. So I might ask her to see if she wants to, but she's not allowed to speed up here. Good. You see she's a little awkward and unsure there, looking for me, looking to me for reassurance. Okay, when I get that, guys, then it's time to start swapping between the two directions. So I might just do a really simple figure 8. Trying to keep the rhythm the same. And hoping to access each of the different flexions, rib cage wiggles, which ultimately together will equal bend. I'm actually looking like I'm going to do a serpentine here, but that's okay, same idea. Just lots of little turns and changes of direction. Opportunities of school each way. Sorry guys, my voice is not very clear, I'm very congested here. Really watching that rhythm, and if she doesn't, with the changes of range, start to speed up too much. Which I feel like she has there. So come back then and think, no, I want half holds. And you can see where she gets a little weak in this slower trot, so I might actually spend a circle here before I canter. I'm probably not going to be able to talk much when I'm cantering, guys, because I think I'm going to be breathing a little bit too much, so I might let Ben take over for the canter. But essentially it's the same stuff. The canter is a little bit trickier, but you know, same idea. She's a little bit more rigid in that. The transition as well is where you can see she comes a little off the bit because she doesn't want to bend.
So you can see there Amber's still trying to, you know, get that flexion with that inside rein, and then she's going to still be sort of pressing her with that inside leg, asking her to bend through her ribs. And then it's hard to sort of probably see it all, but she's going to also be making, you know, little half halts and softens. You can see she's doing a little maneuvering with her reins there. And yeah, we just like Willow to sort of bend through the ribs a little bit more, give us a bit more flexion, a bit more shoulder control. She has a good canter, definitely like a lot of potential in that canter. She's got quite good jump there, but yeah, it needs to get a little bit softer, a little bit more bend. Amber's also working, you know, not to let her reins get too long and let Willow duck behind a bit, like we wanted her to hold the contact still. That's better. You could see around that corner there, she didn't sort of duck her shoulders in and kind of fall through the corner. She kept bending through the whole corner, which is what we're looking for. And there, she sort of tried to push in against Amber's leg, and you see Amber had to make some corrections with the inside rein, inside leg. And when she comes down to trot here as well, like, yes, we're happy for her to be nice and long and low, but she's got to carry herself. You could see she sort of came to trot and then went to kind of get heavy and run a bit. So Amber made some half halts to balance her. Depending on their level, where, you know, that kind of adjusts how happy we are for them to work in the long and low all the time. But when they're sort of learning, we don't really mind too much if they do want to get a bit longer and stretch out, as long as they aren't heavy and they're carrying themselves and they're maintaining that rhythm. You can see she's got good flexion there. Probably the transitions are, yeah, still pretty hard for Willow because she's quite, she can be a bit weak in having the correct bend. That was pretty good actually for her, that wasn't bad. This canter looks, even though she just dropped out there, it looks maybe, would you say this canter's a bit stronger, or Amber?
Different, I don't know, not really.
Okay.
Just,
To me, videoing it looks a little bit more balanced, which I would think means she's a little bit stronger behind, but you know, Amber's riding her and maybe she's feeling different things than I can see.
I would say that she accepts the right leg a little more than the left leg.
There you go. So
It means I can push her around a bit more.
yeah, so Amber just said, yes, she accepts the right leg more, which means it's probably easy to get that bend. So that means, you know, it's going to be easier to get her to sit under herself a bit more. So you're going to have a little bit more of a balanced canter with a bit more swing. Just get a little bit strong there and she'll half halt soften. So yeah, she tries really hard and she's, you know, a really nice type with good paces. But dressage has not been what she's done recently. You know, she's been with a kid sort of jumping and doing pony club and sort of bits of everything. We are getting a few inquiries now looking for predominantly like a dressage pony, and she certainly could be that, but needs someone that's gonna, you know, bring her on. We do have my two eventers going nuts in the paddock next to the arena, having a great time, and then we've got an unbroken one on the paddock just behind the arena who's been having fun as well. So she's quiet. You can see she's probably starting to get a bit tired, and there she dropped down. She's starting to get a bit low and sort of behind as well. Amber's going to be working on pushing, you know, that nose out a bit more. Half halt soften. There you can see she gave a nice big release. When she gets tired, she's going to want to kind of duck behind and almost sort of want to, not that she gets really strong, but kind of just drop everything into your hand a little bit more. So yeah, some more bending's a good idea. Get her off that inside leg again, get her carrying herself a bit more. She's in quite a nice little frame there. She's a really cute type. And good breaks as well. Right, do you have anything else you want to add about the Canter? I sort of tried to talk about stuff, but often me and Amber will explain things differently. Amber's probably much better at explaining things, but...
No, it's just weak, and as she starts to fatigue, she gets a little bit quick and starts to lean instead of necessarily carrying herself and using her body how we want her to, but there's good bits coming. And she felt a little bit that way in the trot a few weeks ago when she arrived. And I'm really happy with how the trot has progressed. But the Canter probably, it needs a little bit more work probably to be quite, you know, to be really competitive in a test. But like she wants to do it. She wants to do the right thing. It just needs a bit more time and someone that's prepared to put in the effort and the work. And I think that person will reap the benefits of having a fantastic little horse. So just looking for the right person for Willow.
Yeah, she looked pretty good in the trot.
Yeah, the Trot's a lot further along than the Canter.
Yeah, which is the way with most horses.
Yeah, like the Canter just takes longer to strengthen, and they use their body in a different way. So when you go up to Canter on her, you know, she starts to block a little bit more, and then everything's a little bit more touchy. So it's just a bit more work. That's all. Yeah. It's certainly achievable for someone.